So Nancy is going to take your questions. So what we'll have you do is we'll have you line up right there in a single file line where that microphone is, where the young lady is right there. And if you have any questions for her, just head on over and ask, and we'll just get it going. How are you?
I'm good, but first I wanted to say, yo, I'm Bart Simpson. What's happening, man? And Bart's gonna be a grandma. Woo!
Bart's gonna be a grandma. That's amazing.
It's true.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, so when we started The Simpsons, I was very pregnant with my daughter Lucy, who is almost 27, and my son Jack will be 25, and he and his wife are having a baby. So it's kind of cool for the older guys out in the audience to know this, because when I started doing The Simpsons, seriously, it was like my water was breaking it was the Christmas show. It was December 17th. She was born the 19th, and it was the premiere of the Christmas episode, and Lucy was sticking out to here. It's like, whoa, my water broke. I'm out of here, man. So that's for the older audience. But it's interesting to have that such a long-term relationship that I don't think anybody on television can say that they've ever done that they've been around long enough to say that, you know, that the cast and crew got to witness an actress being pregnant, and now that baby is going to have a baby. That's cray-cray.
That's amazing. That's phenomenal. Look, I'm sure people ask every day, so I would never bother asking this. You know, did you have any idea it would be this successful? Of course you didn't, but when you were making it and it was starting, were you at least like, this could be a good thing here? You know,
the only thought that I had about it was like, nobody is doing animation on prime time. So I knew that was different, and I was curious, like, how they were going to take it. But, yeah, you're right. Nobody had any clue that 28 years later I'd be sitting here at the Jackie Gleason Theater, you know, Miami, Florida, doing a Comic-Con, and we're still on the air. That's, wow.
And if I'm right about this, you didn't even go in there to audition for Bart, right?
That's right.
Yeah, tell that story.
Yeah, I went in to audition for Lisa. And I said, well, tell me about it. What's the name of the show? Well, it's not exactly a show. It's a little bumper. It's a little interstitial. I'm like, what is that? What's an interstitial? Well, it goes right after the show and before the commercial. So it's not even a show? No. And I said, okay, well, what part do you want me to, what am I up for? Well, it's an 8-year-old girl. Her name's Lisa. She's the middle child. I said, okay. All right, fine. And that was it. So I went in to audition for Lisa, and I saw her picture there along with a little monologue, and sitting right next to Lisa was a picture of Bart, and it said, 10 years old, school-hating, underachiever, and proud of it, and bam, he won my heart. So I just went in, I met Matt Groening. He was the only one that was in the room, and I said, hi, I'm Nancy Cartwright. I want to read. I was supposed to read for Lisa, but this Bart, I'd like to read for Bart instead. Is that all right with you? He's like, yeah. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Oh my God, that's him, that's Bart. You're hired, and right on the spot.
That's so cool. We are going to get to your questions. Again, if you have questions for Nancy, just line up over there. But I'm curious, so you go in, and so you're not obviously prepared to do Bart until, like you just said, you go and you see the description. So the voice, how do you do that? Because you've had no backstory, really. Like, there's been no rehearsal at home.
Right.
How do you fall into that voice?
You know, mostly my technique, I guess, is that I like to look at a picture of the character and kind of see their jawline, and Bart didn't really have much of a jawline. I don't know, in this case it was just, I had one sound for Bart, and that's the sound that I did, and that's what got me hired. There was no second choice, so third choice, because when you do a voiceover and you're auditioning, the idea of playing a character, the casting director or the creator of the show might have a different idea of what that sounds like. So playing Bart Simpson, I mean, just to give you a little bit of an example, like how Bart's voice can change. So this is the Bart that I do. This is Bart Simpson. This is the sound of Bart Simpson. But if I was to make him just a little bit younger, all I would have to do is kind of like take this voice and I would just kind of goose it up a little bit, and now he's like 4 years old. This is Bart Simpson at age 4. And if he's going to be 2 years old, then I would sort of do it like, this is Bart Simpson at 2 years old. So it still has that certain quality that I can't get rid of as Bart. And likewise, if I was to make Bart like, say, this is Bart at age 10. Hi, I'm Bart Simpson. What's happening, man? Let's make him 15. Hi, this is Bart Simpson at 15. I'm just a little bit older. Maybe his voice would crack just a little bit. If he's going to be really old, instead of technically changing it. So I take Bart Simpson that's 10 years old, and then I can drop him way down into here. And now I'm like, yeah, Lisa, so what's happening, man? And slow it down just a little bit. That's my idea, and they seem to buy that.
That's awesome. How cool is that? So awesome. All right, we've got some questions. Go for it.
Hi, Nancy. I'm a huge fan of you and The Simpsons. I've been watching since I was 3. And I wanted to ask, how did you get into voice acting?
Well, I was about, when I was 16, I had heard that the high school had a speech team. Prior to that, I had competed when I was 10. I was Bart's age. I competed in a little contest that my school had. And all I did was tell a story. And it was Rudyard Kipling's How the Camel Got His Hump. It was not a particularly funny fable. It was just a little fable. But when I did it, somehow I made everybody laugh. And when everybody laughed, wow, that really felt awesome. I said something, and I did something to my hair, like, humph was all the camel said, humph. And I had, hair was flopping around, and people laughed. And it just created something that, wow, I really like that. So I started to pursue other avenues that would make people laugh. So I got into children's theater, and I did some summer theater and community theater. So by the time I got into high school and they had the speech team, I used to compete. And I wasn't a debater, but I did individual events called forensics. And I just did individual events like humorous interpretation of literature and a lot of children's stories. So when I did that, the judges would write on my critique sheet, they would write things like, you've got an unusual voice, you should do cartoons for a living. I was like, wow. And enough judges said that over the year, you know, in my sophomore year, my junior year, that people get paid to do this? Really? You can make a living doing cartoon voice? It never occurred to me because I lived in Dayton, Ohio. It's not exactly the animation capital of the world. So again, I started to pursue opportunities for myself that I could do more entertainment with my voice. So I did really, really well on the speech team. I got trophies, blue ribbons, and lots of trophies that were tall. You know, my brothers would get Little League trophies and soapbox derby trophies. And here I am bringing home a blue ribbon. And then I got a scholarship to go to Ohio University and be on their speech team. So basically, they're kind of paying for my college education, and all I'm doing is telling stories and bringing home some hardware. So I'm thinking, there's something here. Then I worked at a radio station. Again, kind of along the same line. So when you're thinking about, you young guys, what you want to do for a living, since you got to have a job anyway to pay for all the extra bling and extra activities and buy some nice clothes and pay for, you know, going to the movies and all that stuff, pick a job that you really love. Pick a job that is kind of along the line of what you want to do, because you're going to have to work anyway. And I was super smart about that because I learned about doing commercials and putting commercials together. So that was my beginning.
Thank you.
Great question.
Hi. So for Bart Simpson, what was your favorite Simpsons episode to voice?
This one, besides who's your favorite character, is perhaps the most often asked question that I get, and very difficult to answer, because it's like, do you have a favorite episode?
Not really. I'm not original at all.
You are original, honey. Everybody's original. You really are. You'll find that out. You're a special girl. For me, it's a little tough. I personally tend to like the musicals because I just think they're brilliantly written. The satires, right? Like Sherry Bobbins, The Takeoff on Mary Poppins. You guys remember that one, right? When we performed in September 13th, 15th, September 12th, 13th, and 14th at the Hollywood Bowl in 2014, we played in front of, wow, I think it was 58,000 people. It was really extraordinary. It was amazing, and we got to sing, Yardley and I, who plays Lisa Simpson, got to do a little bit of the Sherry Bobbins thing and singing, "If you want to be our sitter, please be rich and never bitter. Help us with math and book reports. Might I add, eat my shorts." So fun, so fun. And Kip Lennon does the best Michael Jackson voice, and Michael actually hired Kip because Michael was under a musical contract and was not allowed to do his own singing when he was on The Simpsons. You remember when he played the 300-pound white crazy guy? So he could do his voice, but he wasn't allowed to sing. And in that episode, Michael and I got to sing Happy Birthday to Lisa. And so when we did again the Hollywood Bowl, Kip Lennon also was a guest performer there. And we brought Yardley on the stage and sat her down in a director's chair, kind of facing, I'm standing like this, and Kip is standing like this, and Yardley was kind of in front of us. And we got to serenade her singing, "Lisa, it's your birthday, happy birthday, Lisa," and it was backed up by the Hollywood Bowl. It was so cool.
That is so cool.
Yeah, that was such a highlight.
There's so many incredible things that have happened because of this show. Like when I was a kid, I had like a Cowabunga Dude t-shirt. Did you get any money off of that, by the way?
No.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
The only time I get paid for merchandise is if they use my voice.
Oh yeah, I didn't.
Darn.
Know that. Yeah, darn. Sorry about that.
Darn, double.
But there's, I mean, it's like what a humongous effect on pop culture. It's one thing to have a great TV show, fine, but you know, you guys are just like imprinted on the fabric of this country.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. What a
mind blowing, right?
yeah. To me, still, it's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, congratulations. All right, let's keep the questions going.
Thank you.
Hey. I was wondering if you had any particular tips or tricks for playing male characters?
You know, that was something that I never really set out to establish for myself. It kind of just happened. When I moved from Ohio to Los Angeles, by that time I had connected up with a pioneer in the industry by the name of Dawes Butler. And many of you adults would remember him from the characters that he used to do. He was Huckleberry Hound and Yogi Bear, Quick Draw, McGraw, Elroy Jetson, Babalooey, Cogswell Cog, Peter Potamus. He did a lot of the Hanna-Barbera characters. And when I was on the speech team at Ohio University, I connected up with Dawes Butler, and he would send me scripts in the mail, and I would record my voice on a little, at that time it was a little cassette, and mail that back to him, and he would listen to it and then do a little critique for me and send that tape back to me, and I got to actually listen to him when I played it back on my tape recorder. So I'm kind of learning from this guy and realizing, I got to move to California. So by the time I moved to California, I only knew one person, and that was Dawes, and I'd never really even met the guy. So I was a little bit of fish out of water. However, I didn't have anybody that was, how do I say it? It's like I had no stops in my way. It's just like the world was my universe. I could do whatever I want. It was a clean slate. And I didn't have any considerations about what's the right way to do it. No, that's not the right way. Oh, I've got to do it like this. No, I can't do it like that. There were no considerations. And when you don't have any considerations, it's actually kind of amazing because you can just create anything. So I put a tape together, but by myself, and just threw this tape together. And eventually in time, Dawes took me out to Hanna-Barbera, and I got to shake hands with some directors out there. So I guess in terms of like a tip, you're wanting a little tip to start out, that's one thing that you can do. Well, here's a couple of things. You can do what you love, be a professional, and most important of these three is surround yourself with people who love what you do. Because you guys, this is a trap. This is a big trap, is that somebody is like, my feeling is that an artist, we make such a difference on the planet. I think it's the artist that really changes the culture of our society through our artwork. by statements that we make and what we say, in pictures that we do, when we draw things, in sculptures, in dance, in music. These are the things that either elevate or can actually deflate the culture. So you have to look at the message that you're sending out. What is it that you're saying? Or if you're looking at art, who's saying it and what are they saying? Because that is what gives hope, what inspires our culture to make a difference on this planet. And I think it's the artists that really do that. So be an artist. Make a difference.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What is your favorite Bart t-shirt?
Okay, nobody has ever asked me that question before, so guess what? You get an autograph.
Oh,
you get
thank you.
Do we? Have they arrived
There we
yet?
go. Yes.
Prop girl, Miss Priscilla. Round of applause for my assistant. Yay, Priscilla. So this is just something I thought I'd throw in because I've been answering questions and doing seminars for decades, and when somebody can ask me something that I've never been asked before, oh, it's so awesome. So dude, what's your name?
Michael.
Michael. Right, Michael.
So from now on, so that's what's at stake here. But you can't ask her stuff like, you know, what kind of microwave oven do you have? That doesn't count. Yeah. Right? It has to be sort of in the vein of what we're talking about here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Right.
Miss Priscilla. Miss Priscilla. Can you pop this over to Michael? Yeah, have him. Michael, come on down stage. Way to go, Michael. What was your question?
Michael.
The t-shirt question. You know, it's kind of along this thing about the phrase. That's a tough one. On The Simpsons, I don't know that I've ever seen anything that I can recall that like blew me away because of the t-shirt. Maybe it was actually maybe the first t-shirt that I ever saw. I remember I was in an elevator, and the elevator door was closing, and a little kid had on a Simpsons t-shirt. And I looked at it, and I couldn't resist, and I said, "I'm Bart Simpson. Who the hell are you?" Bam, and the door closed. That was amazing, and that was on a t-shirt. Thank you, Michael.
And that kid was probably like, that lady does a really good Bart Simpson impersonation. You and I were talking about this earlier, that I think you have the perfect amount of fame. Like the great amount of celebrity, where you get to do great stuff like this, but you can still be quasi-anonymous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. I'm like the most popular anonymous celebrity around.
Oh, hey, Nancy.
Hi.
I'm a huge fan. Inspired me on my own art, so I hope you can see it.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
So hopefully Senpai noticed me now. My question is, I was curious about the El Barto, you know, when he used to dress up, if they're going to bring that back, because I haven't really seen him in the new season. So.
I don't know. I have no idea. You know what? People want to know if I contribute to the writing of the show. I actually don't. So they always surprise me. The way we do the show is that we have a table read on Thursday mornings, and I get my script delivered the day before, like Wednesday night, and I'll take it and I'll read it. Look up words actually that I don't understand, because believe it or not, seriously, these guys are writers and they're serious about what they say, and not all. The show was never written for children. The public for The Simpsons is 18 on up, and it was not intended for kids, but the kids really like it, and they find something that's fun and funny about it is just kind of a bonus. But you'll notice we don't ever get like Nickelodeon prizes or any kind of which is a little bit sad, but I don't want to go there. But anyway, what I was saying was it's written for adults, but there are words that I don't always know, and also references that I don't know. So with the internet now, and it's bizarre to think back that we didn't even have the internet when The Simpsons started. It's been such serious, isn't that shocking?
You had to call a friend from the house phone and go, what a great episode that was.
A house phone with the regular
the rotary
dial.
Yeah.
Truly.
Oh, I didn't watch it. It's on my VCR. I'll watch it later.
But that's what I do the night before, and then we do the reading Thursday mornings at 10 o'clock in LA, and it goes for not even an hour, but it's not really a rehearsal for voice actors. It's a reading so that the writers can take notes about what works and doesn't work for that particular room. So in the room, it's about 100 people, and, well, not that many, maybe 60 people. But writers and actors, and then around the perimeter of the conference table that we're seated are the writers' assistants and executives and also guests that come to the show. And it is really fun. Whoa, that sounded like Nelson. Did you hear that? It is really fun. It's so fun to do. It's crazy. I love it. I'm an orange. I'm Idaho. See, it doesn't matter what Ralph Wiggum says. He's bent. He's truly bent. So that's what we do, and then they do a rewrite on the script, and then on Monday, we record it. So I know somewhere in here I answered your question, I'm thinking. I do tend to go on sometimes and give you more than your dime's worth. What was your question? Oh, El Barto. Oh, yeah, so I don't write. I just, they put it in front of me and I say it. But I got to tell you, sometimes a line will come up that I don't think is appropriate, probably for Lisa. And I'll say something to Al Jean, who is like the stage manager would be to a theatrical production. We got a stage manager here. But like Al Jean is the showrunner, and the showrunner, his job is to make sure that all the departments, whether it's the animation or the writing or the acting or the colorization, the writers, whatever, that everybody's on target and everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. He's kind of the lead writer for that. If something's not quite right, I'll read it as it's written, and he'll hear what I say, and then, of course, I'm right, and then they change it. Thank you.
Hi. What time period would you say is the height of The Simpsons?
What time period? What's your name, young man?
John Whitehead.
John, you get an autograph.
While she does that, shameless promotion, he mentioned time period. You can catch The Simpsons weeknights at 5:30 on SFL TV. Yeah, I had to get that in, of course.
Miss Priscilla. I could do it myself. I'm such a lazy butt. The beautiful Priscilla. Thanks, Priscilla. Way to go, Michael. All right. Or John. Thank you, John. So, John, to answer your question, what time period? You know, animation is like, hello, we can go back when Bart was a zygote. We can go back when Homer was a caveman. Or go back. It doesn't matter. It's animation. We could take them under the sea, or we can take them to Mars. Make Bart 40 years old, or just make him a 2-year-old. It's like, generally, I would say the time period, like decades, you mean? It's just current. It's current time. Okay. Whatever's happening. I mean, if you go 28 years ago, it was what was happening in the culture at that time. You know, it's a great question, though. It's truly a great question, because you look at our culture and the evolution of our culture, and you can see how things have evolved. And there were schools, a lot of schools, mostly in the South, that did not like The Simpsons, and they banned it, and they wouldn't allow, and kids got, you know, they weren't allowed to wear the T-shirts to school. They got in trouble for wearing. In fact, some young guy today even told me that he went to a school, and they were not allowed to wear the T-shirts, and he was caught, and he said, "You've got to take that off, you know, or you'll have to do detention, or you get suspended." What he did was he band his buddies together, and the next day they all wore the T-shirts to school. Dun, 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 dun.
Nice.
Changing the culture right here. So my point being, like, our society, my viewpoint of it, the society has had, look what's happening now. To me, I'm a mom, I'm going to be a grandma, and things have changed a lot, and a lot of it is not so pretty anymore. The kids, you know, they've got security at school to make sure kids are not taking weapons to school. You got kids on drugs that are in the same classification as heroin, Ritalin in particular. And it's like, it's a tough world that we live in. There's a lot of distractions out there. It's not like the society that Matt had in mind when he wrote The Simpsons at the beginning, which was kind of like Doris Day, Donna Reed, you know, all rosy-colored glasses. It's a tough world, and to raise kids today, it's tough. So I think the show has kind of had its own voice in terms of who we are And The Simpsons is a little bit more biting today, but not, it's still, which I am really pleased that Matt and Jim Brooks, the executive producer of the show, has kept such high integrity on the quality of the show, and I respect them so much for doing that. It doesn't make mean-spirited fun of people. I think it's playful still. That's a great question.
Okay, thank you. Before I go, can you say in Ralph's voice, "Me fail English, that's impossible"?
Me fail English? That's impossible!
Thank you.
Hello, Nancy. I
Hi.
had a couple of questions, one professional and one for your hobby. First, I've seen you in a Twilight Zone movie from the 80s in a live-action role.
Right.
Were there any other roles that you did live-action?
Yeah, it was so funny because when I moved to California, my goal really, it was to do cartoons. I did not have that as a goal or a purpose in my life to be on camera. I transferred to UCLA because actually it was very conveniently located. It was a bus ride from my mentor's house, from Dawes' house, who was in Beverly Hills. So I would just go into Westwood, catch the bus, and go, I don't know, 5 miles or something to Beverly Hills and jump off and walk to his house. They did not have a speech team. So I did the next best thing to me, which was theater. And I got in UCLA's theater department, and I was cast and played anything from grandmothers, Edward Albee, The Sandbox, any theater majors out there, to playing a 12-year-old girl. I was 22 at the time, and I was playing a 12-year-old on stage. And in that particular production, the director, who was a grad student, he took me aside. We had done 3 performances on campus, and then he said, "Listen, I want you to consider something. Could you consider dropping out of school for 1 quarter, because I want to do this in Hollywood as a play, and I want you to still play this character. I don't want to recast this part." In theater, there's a lot more leeway. Adults can play younger people, and same on television, but mostly they cast real life, it seems, a lot today.
The cast of 90210, they were like 40, and they were playing 16-year-olds.
Eventually, yeah, I think you're right, and you're right. But at the time, so I said, yeah, I do it, and this was an opportunity that came up. It was a carpe diem kind of a thing. I thought, God, I really loved playing this character, so I dropped out of school. I didn't tell the registrar's office that I was dropping out of school. That's a little Bart inside of me. I just kept that to myself and still just kept my connection with UCLA because I hadn't graduated yet. I had 1 more quarter, I think. I dropped out of school and did it. Next thing I know, an agency came and they talked to me afterwards and they wanted to sign me to do film and television. And I had no training. I'd never worked in front of a camera before. It wasn't my goal and purpose, but I'm like, okay. But I was game and full of spirit and fun and a little bit of a show-off. So it actually worked, and they took me, and next thing I know, I went in for an interview at ABC, and they were casting for a pilot, which is just a one-shot deal to sell to the network, and if they like it, they would buy 13 of them or 22 of them, and I did it, and it did not get picked up. But that opened up the door for me with this agency, and then I started going out for on camera. And then I got, it was, what did I do first? I did the pilot, that was called In Trouble. It was really bad. I'm kind of glad because it would have marked me for sure. But then I got Twilight Zone, the movie. I did.
Which was really good.
Thanks. Yeah, if you remember that, I was the girl that actually got eaten by a cartoon wolf. This is what I did. You can look at it. I look like I'm 16, and I'm about 25, I think, when I did that. Joe Dante, who directed that, he went on to do Goonies and Looney Tunes. He's a huge animation buff. And when he saw Dawes Butler's name on my resume, he cast me because of that. Not because I'm an actress and I'm kind of cute or whatever. That didn't matter. Can you read your resume, Nancy? Nancy Cartwright, 5'1", 100. And he says, "Great, you can read. You're cast. I want you to be in my movie." I'm like, "Oh, great." So everything that I went on to do, I was in Cheers, I was in Empty Nest, I was in Mr. Belvedere. I did a lot of guest starring. I was the title role in a movie called Marion Rose White. This was way back in 1982. It was before you guys were even born. Ridiculous. But so I started to balance on camera with Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain, My Little Pony, Glowfriend, Snorks, Galaxy High, all these cute little shows. But now I'm doing kind of both. And it's evolved, and that's another kind of a tip for you guys, in addition to the others thing. Carpe diem, man. If an opportunity comes your way, if you say no, you're never gonna know. You say yes, you open up that door and go somewhere. Sometimes I make decisions. I go, okay, I'm going to go talk to and this is I better not pick on anybody. I'll say, okay, gosh, no matter what I say, people go, oh, you have something against the Garden Defense Societies. We'll just say the Garden Defense Society, whatever that is, wants me to come speak to them. I'm like, fine, I'll do it. The day comes that I'm supposed to go speak, and I'm like, oh, man, why did I say yes? Oh, God, I don't want to speak in front of them. I'm too tired. What am I going to learn from? Okay, fine, I'll go. And I go, and every single time that I have a regret for agreeing to do something, and I do it anyway, like I fulfill my obligation, something cool comes out of it. It's amazing. I meet somebody that says, you know what, I'm casting a show right now. You would be perfect. Something like that always turns out. So carpe diem.
Nice. And my other question is, this is news that you're an artist. What do you like to paint?
I've never been asked that question before. What is your name, young lady?
Annette Levy.
All right, Annette, I'm going to sign something for you.
Nice.
So I'll answer the question. What do I like to paint? Well, I will tell you, I've been doing this since I was really, really little, but I haven't really done anything with it. I've kind of doodled, and I know that I could, in the back of magazines, how they say, if you can draw this, you can be it's like you have to replicate like an elf or a goat or something like that. And you send it in, and they hire you to, I think it's to do some kind of a school. I think it's an ad.
One of those art school things?
An art school thing. Well, I don't know why I shared that, but I could actually... I could actually duplicate really, really well. So what I love to do is I use acrylic paint, and I look at my life, I go, well, I'm in animation. I have a good friend who paints in reverse. If you know the style of animation, this is traditional animation. This isn't current, like digital. But current animation, actually the technique goes way back to the year 4, the Byzantine era, when they used to paint church windows backwards on glass. And from the back, you can't really tell what it is. And like animation, they used to ink an outline of your character on one cell, and they would flip it over because it would, if you painted on top of those lines, it would smear it, and you couldn't always see. You would end up covering yourself with covering the lines up with layers of paint. Animation, it's easier if you flip it over, because then you can go over lines and not worry about it.
Yeah.
And then you can overlap, so from the back it looks kind of bizarre, impressionistic. Then when you flip it over from the viewer's side, you're looking through, on my case, it's like a 1/4 inch of acrylic. So you're looking through the acrylic to see the work that I've done. And even I will be painting something, and I will cheat and kind of, this is so fun, this is so fun. So this is kind of new for me. My pieces are 11 by 12 inches, or they're 14-inch square, up to 4 feet by 8 feet. Big, huge, very, very, very heavy plexiglass platens.
You paint windows?
No, I don't do windows. I do art that you will either hang on your wall, or you can have it on a small easel tabletop kind of a thing. But I'm digging it. I'm going to have a sort of my first preliminary exhibition in about a month at the Chuck Jones Gallery in San Diego, California. You will hear more about it, but I'm brand new to the industry. But I really love it. And I've done sculptures. If you go to Manhattan, in front of the News Corp building, I did a sculpture actually of Bart Simpson, and it's 22 inches tall, and he's got spiky head. It's made out of bronze, fully 3-dimensional. You can pat his head and do whatever you want. And USC actually knew that I was doing that, and now it's located in the George Lucas building on the campus of USC in their cinematic arts department. And I was so honored. The Trojan marching band played for me. It was so cool. I've got an affinity for marching bands.
So awesome.
It's
yeah,
Annette?
right?
Yes.
Yes.
Double N, double T.
All right.
How great is Nancy? How about just like a midway through round of applause? Yeah. What is this ridiculous rule that we can only clap in the beginning and the end? It's awful. Yeah. I think we still, how much time we have left? How are we doing?
I'll go as long as you want.
About 15 more minutes. So
Here,
we'll try to get through all these questions. 18 more minutes. We've just been given 3 additional minutes. Yes. All right, 18 minutes to power through these questions.
All right, let's do it. I want to get everybody's question answered. All right, let's go.
All right, hi.
Hi.
I want to ask, first, is there any voice that after you started doing it, you wish you'd done something different, either because it's rough on your voice, or you just wish you'd gone a different direction with it?
No.
No? Okay.
Next question.
All right, and the other question I had was, you said you were originally auditioning for Lisa. Do you still remember the voice you did, and how much did it differ from Owen Yardley?
I did not do her.
Well, the voice you were planning, rather.
No, I did not do her at all. I'm the one, I don't
Yeah.
do chicks. I mean, I do much better on boy voices. Oh, that was somebody else asked me that question about boy voices. I just sort of fell into it. My Little Pony, Glowfriend, Snorks, except Snorks was Daphne, and Daphne was sort of a precursor to Bart. She was a little, her voice is a little helium, but kind of like squeaky, and I think I'm very limited, but the boy voices were just placed. When I do Chuckie, and I do Chuckie like this, are there clouds? I don't like clouds. I don't know what that is. That's and Todd Daring. I have to really think. Todd Daring from the Replacements. Any fans of the Replacements? Okay, a couple of them. I have to think about it because he's like a combination. So Todd Daring. This is Todd Daring. Hi, Dad, please take off your tights. The dad was a superhero. He thought he was a superhero. Anyway, great question.
Thank you.
Hello, young man.
Hello. Did you have any regrets coming to Supercon?
Okay, I've never been asked that, but that doesn't count.
What was that? Did you have any regrets?
Any regrets coming to Supercon? No. No, I've never been to Miami before.
So that?
Yeah.
Come on. How does that happen?
I wanted to come and check out the people. I heard you guys are big fans here, right? Woo! The best.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, well, my friends and I, we all grew up watching Rugrats. So whenever we'd play, I'd always be Chuckie. So this is pretty cool for me. And,
what's your name?
Michael.
Hi, Michael. My name is Chuckie. We're twins.
Wait, Michael, can you do the voice?
No.
Oh, okay. That's intimidating, right?
Maybe like before puberty, but now. But I was wondering what it was like when you were working on Rugrats.
That's a great question. Michael, okay. See you guys are asking more questions to me in 28 years that I've never been asked before. So, Michael, I'm just taking a note here. Okay. It was actually one of the most difficult things I've ever done because Christine Cavanaugh was the original voice of Chuckie. And at some point, like 8 years into it, she decided to retire. So but they didn't want to retire the show. So they needed to recast Chuckie. And I was called and I was asked if I would be willing to do the voice of Chuckie. And I'm like, wow, this is, okay. Well, first I just want to find out, okay, what's happened? What's going on? And they explained it to me because I didn't want to take her job away from her. She wasn't getting fired. I wanted to make sure that I just didn't want to step in the middle of management and talent. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? That's their own business. They need to handle that. So what I did was I hired the director to help me. And I worked with him and I said, send me a tape of Chris doing the voice of Chuckie and send me the script that matches the tape. because I want to just listen to it and then also be able to read it at the same time so I can play it back. I just didn't want to have to worry about memorizing the lines. Make sense? Yeah, so I didn't want to, I wanted to have the script right in front of me. So that's what I did, and I just worked it, and I drilled, and I drilled. I practiced. And that's another tip for you guys. To be a professional, you got to practice. It doesn't come easy. Some of the stuff in your life, it does come easy, but you make a living at something, you got to keep up with what's going on and the demand that's put on you. So I really practiced, and I got it down to the point where I felt like I felt good about my duplication level of what Chris had done. So then I also went in and I wanted to make sure that the other actors were okay about it too, because it was a little challenging to go into a room with all these other women that were doing all these kid voices, and I'm brand new, and I'm not Chris. And I told the producer, I said, and I told the actors, here's the deal. She wants her job back. She's got 1 year. She's got 1 year. Right now, I'm just keeping the boots warm, if you know what I mean. I'll do it so that you don't have to end the show. I'll do Chucky for 1 year, and if she doesn't come back in a year, then I will take it on as long as you'll have me. And that's what we did, and she didn't come back, and that's how I got it. That was challenging in several ways.
All right, and my friend Lexi wants to know if you can say hi to her as Chucky.
Hi, Lexi. Thank you, Michael. You get an autograph from me. That's from B. It sounds like me, but it's B because I've got an adenoidal thing. Okay. Who's next?
Yeah, keep the question going. Speak slowly. Milk it. Your moment.
All right, so my question is that if you have ever done a voice role that left it rough in your throat, or if you've worked many hours doing these voices, what would you have done to treat your throat? Like, let's say.
Yes, I have. Well, Nelson Muntz, he's a little bit of a throat ripper. You know, if the show, if that particular episode features Nelson Muntz, by the end of the day, it's a little raw. But, no, I don't really. I wish I could say that I do tongue twisters, you know, unique New York, or red leather, yellow leather, or what did you do today, a minute or two to do, a thing to think, hard to say, but harder still to do. You beat it to do, a quarter to do, with the rat, the dragons will come and they sound the drum at a minute or two to do today, a minute or two to do. I don't do stuff like that. So I just do my thing. Warm tea, honey, you can do it if you want. I turn it on and I turn it off. That's how I do it. Okay. I don't believe in method acting. I just say we have the ability as an artist to say, now this is Bart Simpson or this is Chucky. Sometimes I get confused, and this is Bart Simpson, and I can just turn it on and turn it off and be Nancy. But sometimes I do so many voices and I talk to myself that I really am a little confused about who I am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
What do you think of the Simpsons ride?
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. I love it, right? It was like an award-winning thing at Universal. I think they did such a great job. You get to go into that universe and kind of feel like you're in The Simpsons, and you get splashed in the face with water, Maggie's diaper or something, and baby powder. And it's kind of fun. Thank you. Just, you know what, let's keep it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's about 12 people behind you, and I want to make sure that I get to answer everybody's question. Okay. So let's just keep it to one question. Okay. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Because
I want everybody that's waiting in line, I want to get to them too.
We have about 8 minutes, so maybe 1 minute a question. We might be able to do it with everybody. So we're gonna move to the next person.
Okay. Thanks, honey.
Hello.
Hi.
So The Simpsons have had a lot of musical guests on, and I want to know what's your favorite experience with working with the music guest, or what's your favorite music guest?
Well, one experience that I had was really fun was when 50 Cent was on. He was so nice. He was so nice, but he had so much bling. And I said to him, 50 cents, could you bring it down to a nickel? Because we're hearing you. I remember that. That was probably one of the most memorable experiences I had with a musical guest.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, another time that I had, as you're stepping up to the mic, here's just a little bit, I'll just add it to it, is that, what's her name? She was in Les Miserables, we cut her hair.
Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway. She was on our show. What a sport. Such a good, she's got an amazing singing voice, right? She's so talented. She comes to the reading of The Simpsons, and her character, she plays this princess, I think, to Krusty the Clown. And she's just like, she doesn't even know the tune of the song, and here her character sings. She bursts out into song, sings the whole thing a cappella, and I'm sitting across from her like, wow, man, that was amazing. Such a pro. I love that. Musical.
About 16 years ago, I came upon your website, and at the time you had a form where you could fill out and get a free autograph.
Yeah.
And 2 months later, so it just showed up. I was wondering, is that actually your autograph? And if so, whose idea was that to have that on your website?
That is true. It is my website, and I still do that. And anybody can send me a self-addressed stamped envelope and ask for an autograph, and I will send you one. And I've never charged. I've always felt it was my job to just kind of make sure that the fans get what they want. Here's the deal, though. Being at Comic-Con, it's a little different because I'm here in front of you, and you get to shake my hand, and you get to meet me, and it's the agreement with the producer here. So if you walk away from here and you're disappointed that you didn't get my autograph for whatever reason, do exactly what he said. Go to my website, which is nancycartwright.com, and there's a contact information, and it talks about how to get my autograph, and just send in a request for it, and I will gladly put it back in your self-addressed stamped envelope and mail it to you. And it is my autograph, and nobody does it for me. You get an autograph.
4 minutes left, guys. Rapid fire.
Oh, God, let's go.
Go.
Stick around, I'll get your name.
One of my favorite characters from Animaniacs was Mindy, and I was wondering how you felt voicing the character.
I love Mindy. I love you, lady. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
I love the catchphrase, eat my shorts, one of my favorites growing up. Just wondering if there was any phrases or any characters that evolved because it was your idea.
Characters or phrases that evolved. That's really so far, that's the only one so far on The Simpsons, and nothing looking, checking, going back, any other characters from any other show that I can, no.
No?
But you get an autograph. Just sit right down there, I'll get you.
Hi, I'm a big fan. I just wanted to know, how was it like speaking to Stewie Griffin?
Oh gosh, yeah, you know what? I wasn't there. I wasn't there that day. And so they had to record me separate, which was totally fun, but I kind of got to miss out on the group thing. Yeah. I bet it would have been a blast.
Thank you.
That's a good one.
Give me a second, nostalgia is kicking in. My question is, I know with the success that you've had with The Simpsons and all your other shows and everything like that, and now obviously being a mother and now a grandmother and everything like that, are there any cartoon shows nowadays that you've been watching with your kids that you can see yourself playing, and what characters would they be?
You know what? Actually, I don't watch. This is being really honest with you guys. I don't really watch a whole lot. I'm super busy doing other things as an artist. I'm producing now and producing my own stuff. I have an animated show that I would love to see done, and guess where it's set?
Miami.
South Beach, Miami.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's set in a retirement facility, and it's called unassisted living. It's to me, it's totally delightful, and I love it because the architecture, you got the Art Deco and the fun colors and stuff like that, and it just lent itself, but okay, there's 3 people. That other guy, plus you down front, I owe you one. Yeah, just come down and I'll get your name. I'll give you an autograph. Yeah.
With all the, other than Michael Jackson, is there any other guest stars that you've enjoyed working with, other than The Simpsons, or any other projects that you've worked with?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, we've had over 500 guests on the show now, maybe over 600. The last count was over 500. And of course, I don't work with all of them. Their schedules are pretty crazy, and we're kind of lucky to get them when we do, and I think the producers work around their schedule. They don't work around ours. So there's been a handful of artists that I've got to work with, and I had written a book back in the year 2000 called My Life as a 10-Year-Old Boy. It's still available. I think you can get it for about 10 cents on Amazon. They don't they don't publish it anymore, so they're rapidly decreasing, but I go into detail what it was like to work with Meryl Streep and gosh, that's all I can remember. No, Meryl Streep and what's his name? Mel Gibson and Kirk Douglas. I got to direct Kirk Douglas. That was kind of amazing. That's a fun story, but a little too long to tell you. But these guys come in, and it's always amazing. The Meryl Streep story, she was such a fan of the show and quite understated, and just dressed simply and no makeup, and just really, but such a pro, right? All the stuff that she's done. And I was kind of wondering how she was going to take Jessica Lovejoy and what she was going to do with Jessica. It's like, how different can... we would do typically 4 takes for each scene that we record. She would do 10, 11, 12 takes, and each one different than the one before. It was amazing, and each one of them really, really good. I'm like, damn, you're really good, Meryl. So I kind of wanted to get her autograph because it's Meryl flipping Streep, you know? It's like, wow. But I was a little nervous, and I didn't want to, I don't know, just like manners. I didn't want to ask and embarrass. What if she said no? I didn't want to, so I didn't do it. I didn't carpe diem. So I'm saying goodbye. We'd signed our contracts. I'm walking to the door, and next thing you know, I feel a tap on my shoulder, and I turn, and Meryl's standing there. She's like, you know, my kids are too young to watch the movies that I'm in, but they're huge fans of The Simpsons, and I was just wondering, could I have your autograph? Much better! And I get a story to tell you guys here in Miami. It's a great question.
So we're out of time. Can we do these last 2?
Oh, two more.
We're going to do a picture? Super fast,
Super fast.
The fastest ever Q&A of all time. Go.
Because Simpsons have been on for so long, my friends and I always tend to reference a lot of different episodes to each other when we're in conversation.
Yeah.
Do you ever reference any of the quotes or episodes to any of your friends or coworkers whenever you're doing anything?
No. No. In fact, I tried to read to my children doing voices. No, mommy. No, mommy. No. Sorry. Last question, and then I think we're doing something special for you guys.
Oh, yay. I know I'm the last one, so don't hate me, people. I haven't watched even 1 episode of Simpsons, but my husband is a huge fan, and he's too embarrassed to come up and ask a question. So I wanted to see if maybe I could get a signature for him.
What's the question?
If I could get a signature for my embarrassed husband.
Has anyone ever asked you that?
No, that doesn't count.
Aw. Well, at least I tried. You didn't take that carpe diem? I did. I had to.
All right, round of applause for you guys. Thank you.
you.
You've been a good audience.
And a huge round of applause for Nancy Cartwright. She's amazing.